Steve Jobs is one of the most influential leaders in recent history. In order to understand any analysis of Steve Jobs, one must know an in-depth understanding of his history. While the first half of his history is filled with small triumphs and large obstacles, the second half holds so much glory that one cannot help but appreciate and admire who he is now. The foundation of his current reputation rests solely on his ability to learn from the past. An adopted child raised in Silicon Valley, Steve was horrible at school and had to be bribed from his teacher to do classwork. This helped him to skip the 5th grade. He met his first business partner, Steve Wozniak, while in high school. The two began to build and sell blue boxes, an illegal device to trick AT&T's long-distance switches that gave users free phone calls. Jobs attended college but dropped out and began sitting in on classes of which he was not enrolled but found more interesting. Jobs and Wozniak began selling a computer named the Apple I that Wozniak had designed and created that included a keyboard and screen. They named their company Apple Computers for lack of a better name. Jobs learned from a previous computer festival in which their booth was entirely overlooked that their appearance required improvement. He bought his first suit, attained a prime location at the next festival, and had the Apple II encased in plastic to differ from other companies. They sold more product on that day than the entire life of the company. With the success of the Apple II, Apple Computers expanded. Jobs was a tough manager and employees refused to work with him. He was moved to work on a project named Macintosh to keep him secluded from corporate decisions. He wanted to get back at Apple and instilled his engineers with confidence, entrepreneurial skills, and dislike for all other Apple employees. Time magazine's Mike Moritz wrote an article that described Jobs' unfavorable attitude and shared details of his illegitimate daughter Lisa. Jobs couldn't be CEO of Apple because of his inexperience and bad publicity, so he convinced PepsiCo CEO John Sculley to become CEO of Apple. He stayed in Sculley's good graces and persuaded him to send all resources to the Mac project. Jobs degraded anyone who wasn't part of the Mac team. He told the development team of a failed project, many of whom were about to be fired, that he only saw B and C players and that all the A players were with him on the Mac team. The CEO no longer supported Jobs, restructured Apple's management, and removed Jobs from any managerial position. Jobs left Apple to start a company named Next. His intent was to create a 3M machine for higher education and research markets. He also acquired Pixar from Lucasfilms for $10 million, one-third of the original asking price. Oddly, Jobs fully funded his side project Pixar out of his own pocket, but relied on investors for his main project Next. Next was worth $125 million without a single product. They released the Next Cube with many innovations, but couldn't sell them even at a bargain price. People weren't willing to pay for a research machine. All the while, Jobs was still investing in Pixar, which was burning millions of dollars a year without any money coming in. Jobs could have had his Next operating system come native on every IBM computer, but was too difficult to deal with. He signed a contract for Pixar with Disney to create 3 animated films. Production stopped on Toy Story because the script was considered horrible. Jobs looked to sell Pixar, but changed his mind when an improved script was presented and Disney approved. Toy Story was so successful that Jobs immediately made Pixar public. It turned Jobs into a billionaire. He was able to renegotiate with Disney to make their deal a 50-50 partnership. Pixar kept all creative control over its films, and the Pixar logo had to appear in every film and advertisement. Jobs achieved this by threatening to go to other film distributors. Apple began losing momentum because of Microsoft Windows and decided to bring Jobs back as an informal advisor to CEO. He convinced Apple to buy his company Next to use the operating system they developed on Macs. Apple ousted their CEO and hired Jobs as an interim CEO. He didn't want to be a full-time CEO for two companies that were public for the stockholders' peace of mind. Jobs talked to every team of every project at Apple to see if the products were profitable. Out of 350 products, Jobs cut all but 10. A realization that if he couldn't understand the material that the customer wouldn't led him to improve customer relations. He formed a culture at Apple to be comfortable and relaxing for the employees. Jobs ensured that all products be kept secret, and any employee that leaked information was fired immediately. Apple's product line was stripped down to 4 computer lines to address customer confusion. Jobs instilled confidence in the company, which resulted in immediate higher sales. The company was profitable again with 1 year of guidance and restructuring from Jobs. Jobs was promoted to permanent CEO. He paid attention to his customers' requests and trends. This approach led to the release of the iPod, iPhone, iPad, Mac OS X, and digital media suites like iTunes and iMovie. He opened the Apple retail store and iTunes music store and became one of the most influential contributors to the digital era. Jobs recently stepped down as CEO for Apple but remains a board member. Many believe his decision was based on his health condition. He has had a tumor removed from his pancreas and a liver transplant. While many are whispering that this could lead to another downfall for Apple, the numbers contradict. As of September 19, 2011, Apple shares were at their highest at $410 apiece. Jobs violated Green's first law of power to never outshine the master. His attempts to be better than the CEO and turn his employees against him resulted in his loss of power. He was the master of the seventh law: get others to do the work but take all the credit. Many of his first innovations were simply elaborated works of others, but it catapulted him to stardom. Jobs violated the ninth law: win through actions and never through argument. In his early years, Jobs could have accomplished much more had he simply avoided argument. He is the master of the 28th law: enter action with boldness. Every event of Jobs' career was delivered with a harsh blow and immediate action. Jobs always caught his target off guard and knew his own intentions. Jobs has reached the fourth level of leadership, people development. He is surrounded by people who have reached greatness due to his guidance. Jobs' ability to learn from the past helped him reshape the second half of his career. He will go down in history as one of the greatest entrepreneurs and CEOs, and will most likely reach the fifth level of leadership, personhood.